Welcome back to Brothers in Boots. My name is Mike.
My name is Jeff.
And today we have an episode on jackets. This is the sister episode to go with an episode we did recently on hats. What you drinking today, Jeff?
You notice the t-shirt I put on, decided it had to be Russell's Reserve. It was a pick I did years ago, over the 10-year mark for age, which is pretty rare. The Russell's line, it's usually like 8.5 to 9.5. This was a shirt that I actually had made up for one of the picks that I did. But one of the websites that I admin is called the Wild Turkey Rafter. And I made up this shirt, and I had one made for everybody that was on the pick with me, and for the master distiller, and the master distiller's niece, and the master distiller's son, and other various friends that I've made at the distillery, visitor centers, managers, stuff like that. So,
yep.
There you go.
It's a reference for Game of Thrones that's like, what, been fucking 10 years since the show ended now? It's probably a reference that's a little harder for people to get these days. It's the houses of the Game of Thrones with the winter is coming, except it's bourbon is coming.
Hate to think that it's been that long, but yes, I copied the Russell's logo and the Game of Thrones, the shirt.
Yeah, I want to say that show ended it was like 2016 or 2018. It's been a little while now. I think the first season was all the way back in like 2012 or 2013. So it's been some time.
The years, they go by so fast now.
Yeah.
2019 was the 8th season of Game of Thrones.
So 6 years ago.
Oh, more like 5 or 6. Not 10. That makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
Please hit the subscribe button and the like button if you like it, but hit subscribe like right now.
Maybe time will go slower if you do. The years won't fly by quite so fast, especially with COVID years. You know, we say, oh, it's only been 6 years, but in the COVID years, I'm pretty sure it's been like 16. I don't know what you're talking about. So.
Oh, and anybody who thinks that they might join in on a live video, if we choose to do another one, please put in the comments when will be a good time for you to join in, to be able to join in on a phone call and talk live with us. I'm not sure that Thursday morning, when we usually release, is the best time for people to be joining in. Maybe it is. We actually got quite a few people on the last live episode that I did not plan. I just did it Thursday morning like normal. But you have a preference for when will be a good time that you would actually be able to join in? Put it in the comments, and hopefully we'll get enough answers to get an idea of what's best.
Yeah, and please include the time zone as well. I think the one that Jeff got quite a few on, which I was able to join as well. I was able to join when I was sitting down to nuke my lunch, so that episode worked its way into kind of lunchtime, Central Time, which would have been mid-afternoon, East Coast time, and just getting past breakfast on the West Coast. So
I had slept in that day. I don't remember what time it was, but Eastern time, it was probably about 1 o'clock in the afternoon that I woke up. I just grabbed a coffee and turned the computer on and hit record.
Yeah, I want to say I ate lunch for the last 20 minutes of it, where I was trying to help answer and chat. And I want to say it was between 12:30, 1 o'clock, 1:30 sometime. That's West Coast time, so obviously I had an hour for East Coast, or sorry, it's Central time, so I had an hour for East Coast time. But it was definitely, at least starting time was getting close to lunchtime, around the noonish, 1 o'clock-ish time frame. But yeah, like I said, and if a different day besides Thursday's better, make a note of that too.
Oh yeah, day and time, day of the week and time, certainly.
We don't know if lives will be a regular thing. It's just an interesting supplemental. We talked about this in the last episodes. I'll say it again. We are going to move, at least for right now, to a twice a month release schedule. just like the last video, which I'm going to contradict myself a little bit in the last one, which is a little bit more opinion-based than fact-based, even though that one was actually mostly fact. But the idea going forward is we're going to be talking more about things that are going to be a little bit more opinionated towards us and less fact. Boots, have not changed much in the last 100 years. Most of the techniques, most of the styles are the same. The only new things we're getting are leathers, and we're not getting 52 new leathers released a year. We're getting like 6. So while we're talking about some stuff now, like some of the stuff that'll be upcoming in the future is going to be things like what my favorite leather is and why, and for what purposes. Like, so not so much like what is the overall best leather factually, just like what I like, why, my reasons for it. So more opinionated to my tastes and my preferences, which again may or may not match yours. And then we'll do one for Jeff as well. We're also going to do one about where we're going to build a casual and MTO boot with everybody live, where we're going to go through and talk about, like, we're going to put a couple parameters down, do the builds, choose the options we would choose, why, kind of go back and forth, talk about like maybe Mike wants cap toe, maybe Jeff wants a mock toe, maybe we end up with a plain toe or fuck a toe bug, toe flower, who knows, but it'd be something that's done live. Just to, get the creative juices flowing and just kind of the things to think about while, designing your next grail route, essentially. So, like I said, stuff that's not quite as fact-based, a little bit more opinion-based, but it's still going to be backed by facts. Once again, the hat video, definitely opinion, but it was really more facts. This is going to be about jackets. Kind of the same thing. We're not experts in jackets. We're going to talk about the stuff we have and the stuff we like and some facts about jackets, but it's still going to be more tailored around us specifically and less about educational value. Well, I mean, there's educational value there, but less about straight education. So let us know down below.
I want to start with definitions, because I actually got an email from my father just 2 weeks ago on this subject. So it caused me to do a bit of a dive and to try to get some more better definitions than what I had. And by the way, my father he's weird. He's a engineer. He's a mechanical and an electrical engineer, and he thinks way too much, and he's got way too much time. So he has random thoughts, and he sends out an email to his kids and his brothers. But this one, he was musing about coats and jackets and driving coats and what the differences are and how they got their names. And I found myself thinking that a coat meant like cold, like cold weather, and that a jacket meant like more warm weather. But I was actually kind of incorrect. From what I looked up, a coat could be heavy, maybe lean towards heavy, but a coat had more to do with the length. Mm-hmm. And jacket had to do more with the length than it did whether it was heavy or not. Jacket, by definition, is pretty much waist length.
Yep. So you sit down and it doesn't fold.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, so that it probably wouldn't cover your belt. It may or may not cover your belt. It would be like right there. And a coat would be a longer length, and it would be like cover your butt or cover most of your butt when you're sitting down.
Most of your pelvis. In the definitions, a jacket is meant to stay buttoned when you sit. The exception to that is a suit jacket. That's not meant to stay. The bottom button is unbuttoned when you sit. A coat is meant to be completely unbuttoned or taken off and not to be sat in. So for people that want like a visual representation, like, your tuxedo twin tails, you are not meant to sit on those twin tails. You take that tuxedo twin tail jacket off before you sit down. You're only meant to stand up in it.
A very popular type of, I'm struggling for the word, a word that is not coat or jacket, but a driving coat.
Yeah, blazer is what a lot of people call it.
By definition, a driving coat would be something that you drive in, and you always drive sitting down. So there's a coat that you're sitting on.
Yep. That one is called a coat. Now that is a waist one as well. and we're going to muddle this up a little bit more because a lot of leather jackets, most of the styles, they're called leather jackets because they are meant to be waist length. And there's also a term we're going to use here called a half belt, which is a belt integrated into your jacket, shockingly enough, right? But, there are leather coats, like a car coat, that's meant to be satin. Now, a car coat's a very specific cut. Actually, there's a good example of that. Field Leathers is with Creosote doing the Obscure, which is a car coat, which is one that's meant to be satin. The car coat's a very gentleman's jacket. It's not necessarily meant to be worn over a suit, but the style is meant to be worn over a suit if it's made of the right material.
I actually have an example of a car coat in the photos here.
Okay, cool. Then I ain't got to go dig that one up.
At least, unless I'm using the term wrong, I'm pretty sure it's a car coat. Stadium coat. No, I don't think it's called a stadium coat. I think they're called stadium jackets.
They are called stadium jackets.
Which actually would fly in the face of it because it's meant to be sat on when you're sitting in the bleachers where they would be cold and you would need that extra layer.
Yeah, no, and it is called a stadium jacket, actually. Because it's meant to be sat on. It's meant to not be unbuttoned. So like shoes, some of these definitions are used a little liberally. And are a little more purpose driven, but yes, and it is a stadium jacket, and yes, it is meant to be sat on. Which is a good example. That tuxedo jacket I was talking about earlier is called a tuxedo jacket, a twin-tailed tuxedo jacket, and it is not meant to be sat on, but it is referred to as a jacket. Now, it does only go to the waist besides the tails, but c'est la vie. So once again, just like everything we talked about with boots, some of these definitions are clear as mud.
Often exceptions. Parka was interesting. Yeah. I thought a parka just meant heavy. Parka apparently kind of means medium, but it does refer to the hood type that's built into it. With fur. Yep. That's part of the definition of it.
Different eras are going to have different names for stuff too. So I'm going to name some of the stuff in some of these pictures, but like you can make like 2 changes to it and take it from like a 1940s jacket to a 1970s jacket, or 1970s jacket to a 1990s jacket, so on and so forth. Like boots, these definitions were used very liberally. The materials that they're made of are going to range anywhere from cloth, linen, wool, leather, whatever fucking synthetic the shit puffer jackets in the 80s were made of. Like jackets and coats can be made of a ton of different things. We're going to focus a little bit more on the, I want to call it fashionable. Minus one fun one that Jeff put in. These are going to be a little bit more upscale materials.
I was starting to think if I had a coat or a jacket that was made out of an artificial material, I almost said no. But you know what? That photo that I actually just sent to you on a side note.
That one's going to be artificial.
That's one that's made out of artificial.
Yeah, my -40 refrigerator jacket's artificial too.
Maybe everybody will get a laugh out of that one. We'll put that one up.
Let me pull it up real quick.
Might be easier for me.
I got you here.
Oh, you can pull it up that way?
You sent it on Messenger. Yeah, I got it over here.
There you go. That was faster.
Oh, did you put it in Discord?
Up in Discord.
Okay, perfect. Here it is right here. So that is a picture of Jeff shoveling the driveway one winter day with about 10 inches of snow.
It was a good snow.
Yep.
And yes,
these Columbia style jackets are good. Sorry.
That is about as long as I've ever had my beard, I think. That my beard, most of that snow you see is all my beard.
And these Columbia style jackets or North Face style jackets, they are probably the nicer of the kind of synthetics, and most of those are going to kind of be in those synthetic patterns. So, but starting off here, You can still see my screen, right, Jeff? Cool. All right, this is my very first bespoke leather jacket. This is a complete made-to-measure custom design from Greg at Field Leathers. This is a 1940s half belt that he calls the Idaho, with a ton of specific changes that I had for it. So this is in a leather called Shinky Brown Pony. This is a Shinky horsehide jacket. It's a beautiful leather, but Greg doesn't offer it anymore. He hated working with it because matching the hides together. So unlike a pair of boots, you cannot make a jacket out of a single hide. The pieces are too big. So he would lay the 3 hides he needed per jacket next to each other and, you know, get like 7 to 10 hides in so that he could maybe make 4 jackets out of it by making the colors match. So he painstakingly made sure all the colors of the different panels matched. So like I said, this is a half belt design, and I'll show why it's called a half belt here in a second. It does have a Scottish Lochern wool liner. This is what they make kilts out of. This is a medium weight liner. They do make a lightweight, they do make a heavyweight. They make like 500 different patterns of this. I think if I remember this one, this is either like USA or St. Andrews or something like that was the name of it. And then the reason it's called a half belt is this right here. It's this belt that runs up a little higher than the waist with these straps that allow you to bring in or expand the waist area. A full belt would actually go all the way around and would have a belt and holes. This is a split yoke, so that when you move your back, there is room for the leather to spread. Unlike modern coats, you don't want just a flat piece on the back. If your back is completely flat and you go to reach out in front of you and move your arms across each other, there's nowhere for the leather to move. And you don't also want to, have to do that motion 100 times to get the leather to stretch where it needs to. So the split yoke design gives you the ability to move while making the jacket the same size and not having to oversize it. You will see some kind of like spots and stuff on it. This is an aniline leather, so it does kind of spot in the rain a little bit. Obviously, after it gets some spots in patina, you're never going to see it again, but you can see like right here in the sleeve, there's a spot there, there's a spot there. Like, this jacket's been worn. You can see claw marks from the dogs. I've had this jacket, I think since 2021, I think. So this has seen the most wear of all my jackets. It is a quite flexible leather, in comparison to some of the ones I'm going to show. They're also Shinky. This one moves pretty well since it's a pony leather. This one does have dual interior pockets, and I got some pictures of the liner. One thing I will say is you can see Greg does fucking amazing stitching work. You will not find a non-straight line stitch out of place anywhere on these fucking jackets. It is insane. So Greg, for those that don't know, Greg runs Field Leathers. He worked at Arrow for 8 years before that. And while he was at Arrow, what kind of inspired him to go out on his own was there was people that would literally wait for their jacket to be made by Greg and not be made by any of the other people at Arrow. And so there was a waiting list to get a jacket from Greg at Arrow. So eventually he's like, well, I'll just go run this business myself. And that became Field Leathers. So like I said, there's not a stitch out of place, and you can see really up close here what I mean. Like, Greg is just an absolutely phenomenal craftsman. But yeah, this is brown Shinky Pony. This is completely made to measure in my measurements. I was bigger in this jacket, so this jacket is a little big on me these days. But yeah, it is it's regular non-adjustable cuffs, hand warming pockets, no zippers. Obviously it's straight front, split yoke back. This is a back style that I asked for. So Greg used to do customs. He doesn't now, where you could like literally send pictures of multiple jackets and have every panel done entirely custom. He doesn't do that anymore. He has adjustments to his patterns, but you do have to stick with the patterns themselves. I do have one jacket that is a standard pattern when we get to it, that has no special customizations in terms of like the panels being redone and things being added and subtracted. It basically just became the weight was too long for people to do a ton of customizations. But this was the first. This is the Idaho, and it's a brown Shinky Pony. Fantastic jacket. you guys a chance to see all the pictures again before I move on to the next one. Any thoughts or questions on this one, Jeff? Sorry, I can't see your face right now.
No, just a very nice jacket. I miss the yoke, the split yoke.
Ah, yeah, it's this piece right here
I
in the
wish
middle.
a lot more places did that. No, I didn't.
Yep.
I don't mean I miss seeing it.
Yep.
I miss that more jackets and coats don't use them anymore. I kind of feel like it should be a part of every jacket.
100% agree. To give an example of one that doesn't have it, so here's a modern jacket where they just do a line straight down the back. So to make this jacket fit, you have to oversize it, essentially, is what Jeff's getting at. So this allows them to get the sizing correct, and Jeff is 100% right. Like, as you can see, there's details where he puts extra stitches in to reinforce the yoke. But yes, split yoke does need to make a comeback. And as you're going to see, most of my jackets, except for one, do actually have a split yoke. Of the leather jackets. So next we have an interesting one. So a lot of times these are called Tommy guns. This is similar to like a shot style. Very common. Its true name is known as a cross zip, a D-pocket cross zip. I do not have a D-pocket on it, but a lot of people know it as like the Tommy gun or like your standard like 50s greaser motorcycle jacket. I don't know if I said it, but the Idaho is a 1940s half belt. So this is this is a completely custom one. Normally this jacket has zipper cuffs instead of button cuffs, so I changed it to button cuffs. It would have a D pocket here that I just took off completely. And I did both lapels being buttoned down. These are regular snap buttons, whereas the traditional one, only these front ones would snap down. These would just be a regular collar that wouldn't snap. This is also a Loch Carron liner. This one is a lightweight liner in this one. This is blue Shinky Pony, and this is a pigment finish, not an aniline finish. This is a completely custom back piece. I have turned this slightly into a half belt with a triple panel design and a split yoke. The standard jacket, the back of it looks nothing like this at all. This is all completely custom one of a 40s style jacket that I liked that was a cross zip Greg calls this the Manhattan. I found a 40s cross zip with no D pocket that I had him match the back on. So fantastic jacket. This leather is quite a bit stiffer than the Shinky Pony. It is a pigment finish. So it's a split yoke. It is a button. So as you can see, the reason this seam runs all the way down here is about this point right here. It's supposed to go into a zipper finish. I had it converted to a button clasp here for adjustability instead of a zipper. So that's why it's a two-piece arm design. This one is, like I said, a lighter weight liner. And I took the picture this time. I forgot doing the other one to show the dual interior pockets. So not only does it have hand warmers, it has hand warmers with zippers, which if I ever had to do again, do not get your hand warmers with zippers. This shit's not needed. All I do is cut my fingers in the cold on it. Like the top one, perfect. I've actually considered cutting the zippers out of this, to be entirely honest. That is the one mistake in this jacket, is do not get your hand warmer pockets with zippers. But it is, just like the other one, a dual inner pocket as well. And he calls this model the Manhattan, but it is your standard cross zip D pocket, kind of Tommy gun style motorcycle jacket.
And I do have one of these, of course, kind of more years ago than I can count. I didn't take a photo of it to show here, but nothing special about mine. It's a regular old, really super thick black leather. No special styling. It's got the real kidney belt instead of the fake kidney belt.
Oh yeah,
Just
yeah.
a regular
The original
big,
model
big
did have a
super
kidney
zip-
belt that I had
zippers.
taken off. That is true. I forgot about that. I did take the kidney belt off too. It's supposed to have that as well. Sorry. Continue.
No, that was it. I think I got it I was probably 19 years old when I got it. So I've had it for quite a while. And it's like I said, it's nothing special. It's super thick leather, black leather, holy shit, YYZ, super sized zippers. There's no special coat to it, so there's no. It's the regular zippers instead, in the regular pockets, the regular back, and very different than Mike's. It's the look that Mike's was going after before he started changing stuff.
Yep, that's a good point. So
sleeves are a zipper as well.
Yeah,
this is a button.
And instead of YKK zippers, these are actually Talon reproductions from the 40s. Greg uses all Talon reproductions. They are made by YKK, but they're made the way that they made them back in the 40s and 50s, not the YKKs now. So,
and instead of that center yoke, those biker jackets always had the do you call them a side vent?
Yes.
So
hold
there's
on.
a big thing at each shoulder.
Yeah, I've got a jacket here that has that styling. Hold on. Here it is right here. So here's a trucker. It's the side vents like these. I can't remember the name. This has a specific name. But they could do it like right here in thirds, or they can do it all the way at the edges, but it's this style of back instead of a split yoke. It works just like a split yoke. There's extra material folded under here so that it can move. I can't remember what this is called.
I didn't even think about it, but I probably could have. Maybe I should have taken pictures of some of my biker jackets that I actually wear on the motorcycle. I've got a really nice FXRG jacket that has a whole bunch of vents built into it, and has armor built into it, and
yeah, I've got I think an icon
stuff. But it's not casual. Like, it's not something that you choose to wear around work or on your way into work or I don't know, anywhere except for on the bike itself.
Yeah, they're stiff. I think it's called an icon. That's the same thing. It's got the armor plates and everything. I didn't take a picture of that either. I didn't think anything about it. I haven't pulled it out in a while since I sold the motorcycle.
The one I'm talking about, you actually can't see any of the armor. It's a really nice leather coat. It's not like that coarsely woven.
Yeah, the Fox Racing shit you see now. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Weave material.
Yeah, mine with the hard armor in, you can see it, but with the soft armor pieces in, you can't. It just looks like a regular leather jacket. But like I said, I haven't worn it in ages because I sold the bike 2 years ago, and even then, I didn't do a whole lot of winter riding anyway. I did when I was younger, but not as I got older. And then this is a cool jacket. Number one, it's the only jacket Greg's ever made in Pueblo. While I don't have a boot in this specific color of Pueblo, fun story at Frank's right now, they're running a bunch of Pueblo, which I was the first person to bring Pueblo in. So it's kind of interesting, thing there. He calls this one the Ohio. This is a 1920s, decorated back half belt. And you'll see that here in the upcoming pictures. So this is Badalassi Carlo Pueblo Emerald Green. It is a button cuff, straight zip front, hand warmer pockets. This is an actual stock. This is after he stopped doing customs, and this is what I mean. So this is not a yoke. This is a 1920s with a decorated back that uses these curved pieces to keep the extra material from bunching up. As you can see, the Pueblo is a little on the stiffer side. That's why this hump right here is from me sitting on the jacket and sitting in the truck. But it is in a half belt-ish style with a decorated back. Once again, as you can see, Greg just does absolutely phenomenal stitching work. This jacket's got a little like a crunchy feel, like a denim leather. Like, it's not the smoothest leather that ever existed, but as you can see in the sleeves and everything, like the stiffness of it has made it tunnel. Like I didn't say what that was, but tunneling is what happens in the arms. So you can see it here. It's while it's hanging, it's not as easy to see. But when it's on my arms and I bend my arms, you can see like all this tunneling goes into effect of where it needs to be. If I go back to one of the other ones, you can see the tunneling right here in the arms of the Shinky. You can also see it right here in the arms of the Shinky Brown Pony too. But this is cowhide. This is Pueblo. Oops, if I get back to it. This is Pueblo. So this is cowhide's double shoulder. So it's stiffer. You can see here in the front, like where it kind of curls up when I'm sitting in it too. But it is definitely a stiffer one. It's an eye popper though in terms of a jacket. Like all the pictures I have of me in this one is kind of on another level. This is a heavyweight Lecaron liner. I think this one was called Galloway, Modern Galloway, if I remember right. So in all the field jackets I've done, except for one jacket I've done Lecaron liner. And this is a single-sided pocket. I only did a single interior pocket on this one. This, like I said, this is a pretty stock design though. He doesn't do the really custom ones as much anymore. So this is a pretty stock design. But this is like one of my biggest eye openers. What's unique about this jacket is this button that exists right here. This flap and this button is meant for you to be able to button this without having to zip it up, so that the jacket holds together without having to zip it. So you get some airflow, but it maintains its look. It's kind of meant to be a dressier jacket. So, but once again, Greg does just absolutely phenomenal work, and with all my stuff, I try to match it up with stuff that I can use in, matching up with my boots. And this also pairs super fucking well with my green hat too. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the pictures Jeff just sent me. Ooh, a little small.
I could have waited.
This is the jacket he's talking about.
I perused the internet to find it. This is the Harley FXRG jacket that I should have taken photos of. But the two outermost pockets are pockets, but the two larger ones at angles, they're actually vents.
Yep.
And the third photo that I showed there, you can see one of the vents zipped open a little bit. Yeah. But it can actually vent air through the whole entire jacket to the back.
Yeah, and this is the back vent he's talking about right here. This is the back of the jacket. And then this is that vent open where you can see the kind of like basketball short material, that like basketball shorts jersey material in there that lets the air vent out. And then if you look here...
It is fully armored, but you really can't tell it. Yeah. It's obvious when you're wearing it, but it's not obvious visually.
Like right here in the shoulders, as you can see, these are some of the armor pieces right there. One of the few spots you can see on the outside. You can see some of the plates right here in the chest a little bit. And then you can see it in the elbows. You can see where it's sewn into the elbows too right here. I can't, there's back ones here, but I can't quite tell where the back plates are. The rest of them have been pretty obvious, but there are back plates here, and there's going to be some stuff down here as well. I don't see the back plates. I'm assuming this is the soft armor, Jeff? The stuff that flexes a little bit?
It's pretty hard.
Is it? Okay.
It's pretty hard, but I've never actually had to pull it out because you don't really wash leather jackets. I didn't have any reason to pull it out.
Yeah. There's plates back here somewhere. I just don't see them. I'm not sure, but there is plates in the back, and I'm sure Jeff, if he put it on, could tell you exactly where they are, where he feels them. But there's plates in the back too, just in case you go skidding.
Yes, it's very nice, and yes, it was very expensive. But no, it's not something you'd ever want to walk around in. It has a false inner liner, and then it has a real zip out liner, which I think I zipped out the first time and never put.
Yeah, I think it's meant for like the winter.
One hell of a fucking jacket. I think the retail, and this was a long time ago, I think the retail was like $700. God knows what it costs now.
Oh, I can only imagine. I mean, to get to temper everybody's expectations, Greg's jackets. Well, I mean, I bought mine quite a while ago. I want to say they start now with no specialty leathers at like 1,600 euros. So they're like $1,800 before you get into any upgrades, like specialty leathers, specialty liners, extra pockets, so on and so forth. I think they're $1,600. So they're not cheap either. And I had one more field leathers jacket. Here it is. This is the Carl Morawski Trucker collab. This is a rough out. Sorry, yes, it's a rough out. It's not a suede. It usually, these old style Type 2 truckers, they, if you notice, they have no hand warmers. They were traditionally suede back in the day, but this one is actually rough out, as you can kind of see inside the collar. He didn't get a suede cut. This is a rough out, but it's a trucker style, so it's got dual pins on the front, so it kind of folds some extra material together. It's all snaps instead of zipper. This is what they usually call a Type 2 trucker. These very indicative of these square stitches. These are Western style pockets, but he does a different style that you can choose from. This is that style we were talking about in the vac that you can see in the other jacket of Jeff's, where they put these extra, they're not vents, but they're folds here for the area to move. This is a button design as well. Overall, pretty cool jacket. And this one was pretty affordable. I think this one was 650 euros, so it was right around $700. And it was somewhat customizable. So it wasn't super duper customizable, but it was fairly reasonably priced for really what it is. He also does a couple bomber styles in the shearling too. I don't have any of those personally, but he's got some cool styles. Like, hey, hit Greg up on either Instagram or email him from his website. Like, Greg's a good dude. He'll take care of you. I wasn't going to originally do this, but I'm going to do it now since we're talking about how awesome Greg is. He did the Obscure collab with Gabbard, which is a actual car coat. So what this is leather that Gabbard would use in boots, but it's been split down in a kind of tumbled style hide. So this is a very unique, which you will hardly ever see in jackets, Wicket and Craig tumbled harness that Gabbard has hand dyed and finished. Well, he's hand dyed, sent to Greg, who Greg makes the jacket, and gets this green dye all over his hands while he's doing it, and then it's sent back to the United States for Gabbard to finish, so that it doesn't get all over your clothes. And then these buttons are made by Huron Brassworks, and it's a complete button-up design. As you can see, this is a car coat, so it does go past your waist, but you are meant to sit in it. As you can see, it's a tumbled leather. It's a nice green. I'm not going to let that video play. As you can see, it does go just below the waist, and it is meant to be. This is a pair of wool chinos. It is a gentleman's jacket. Like it's meant to be, worn in more of an upscale look. It's also a hard design to pull off because, as you can see, here's kind of like the interior with the greens and the. I think this is a twill or a Vercoast liner, if I remember right. But it is meant to be form fitting. It's a gentleman's jacket. It's also a tough pattern to pull off, because it's kind of like one of your more. I don't know how would you say, refined styles where you have to make a couple jackets before it's time to put your pattern on, and this is also like a jacket that uses more leather, so it tends to be a fancier one. All leather car coats tend to be a little bit more money than a lot of the other ones in the lineup.
It is super beautiful. Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
I mean, the back, the details in the back are fucking stunning. So
yeah, the one thing that throws me as I look at the photos, though, it's not as long. When I see the guy wearing it, mm-hmm. It's not as long as it actually looks when I'm looking at it in the photos. Correct.
Yeah. Yes. This is actually Gabbard from Korea. That's Gabbard himself. Yes. And now these are all made to measure, and this could be indicative of the specific length that he picked of the jacket. Because you do pick your back length in this, but yeah, when you look at it on this mannequin right here, or whatever this thing is, mannequin-like thing, it does seem like it would be quite a bit longer. And Gabbard is a pretty tall guy, so That
Beautiful
throws it off a
coat.
little bit. Yeah, it is. It really is. These did sell out, so this is no longer available. I think it did finally sell out a couple weeks ago. So this has been available for about a month and a half. There was only 15 of these made. It did sell out, so this jacket is officially gone. But yeah, it is definitely a stunning jacket. That is for sure. But yeah, that kind of, I think that does cover all the leather ones, right? I don't think we had any more. Oh no, I do have one more leather one, but it's more of a work jacket. So there's one more leather one left. But so now we're gonna get a little bit more into kind of like work jackets. Do you have any comments on any of the leather ones that I could miss that you can think of, Jeff, before I go on? I feel like I'm missing something.
I could just repeat how incredibly awesome that Capard jacket is.
Oh, the obscure. I should have pulled some of the pictures beforehand, because like he took the full sized hides and nailed them to a piece of plywood and was spraying them out next to the Airstream with the airbrush gun thing that he uses. It's not what you would spray the walls. It's car paint gun specifically.
Yeah, and I do love the green. Green's my favorite color, and I like it that it's not very obviously green.
Yeah, it'll probably,
everything about that jacket is incredible. If I had been able to buy one and I had been able to change anything, I would have made it longer.
And that was an option. You could make it longer. You could choose a longer back length. That was 100% an option. Now, to let everybody know, this was like a $2,600 jacket. These were not cheap. So, but they are sold out now, so those are gone. And they are completely made to measure. So, yep, you could easily do one longer. You just do a longer back length. Once again, too late for that now. They did all sell, but yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe there's another one coming in the future. I mean, from the creosote perspective, he did all the leather in a couple weekends while he was still building boots, and then it's really all on Greg to do the rest of the work from that point, besides when they come back for finishing. So I don't think any of those have been delivered yet, but I do believe Sam from Field Leathers has asked people for their measurements. So they're probably getting made right now. Or if they're not getting made, they're close to getting made. So when did? Because I did get one, just as a like FYI for everybody. 'Cause fucking, of course I did. Everybody knows I'm a fucking fanboy here. This is not for debate. This is a scientific fact. Sam asked for my measurements December 29th. So, oh no, December 14th is when she asked for them. We finalized them on January 11th. When she asked for my measurements, we finalized the measurements on January 11th. So, yeah,
like a month ago?
Yeah. There was, I think I was like number 6 in line. So, I imagine most people will have them. I'm guessing the last one will probably roll off the line around the March timeframe, March to April. So, I think they were quoted 6 months. I think they're going to be in way closer than 6 months.
Just missed it.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I could have afforded it, unfortunately.
Well, I think the last one sold like January 15th. So they were available up until fairly recently. Because the first 12 went literally the first fucking day. And then the last 3 did take a little while. So, because there's 15 total made.
It's certainly beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my buddy James got one too. So, but like I said, they're probably, it probably won't be in green, but I bet there'll be another one made before the end of next year, if I had to guess. So, moving on to work jackets. So this is, first of all, I love this company. Heat Straps and Jordan from Heat Straps is fucking amazing. I wish a lot of their stuff wasn't done so closely with Nick's. everybody knows what's happened on this channel. Some of the jackets you are going to see are Nick's jackets. It is what it is. This is my second workhorse. So I actually this is the workhorse V5, 6, 7. I don't know, one of the higher numbers. This is a more, contrary to the jacket's appearance, it is a more recent one. I sold the second version of the workhorse, which was from a couple years ago, to get this one. And this is just a jacket I work at. I take the dogs out in it, as you can see by all the dog scratches on the back of it and the dog hair. Like, these are scratches from my husky, who likes to run up and poke me from behind with their feet. And then there's some dirt and mud and shit up here. I work in this jacket. Like, I do outside shit in this jacket. If it's rainy,
like
it's nasty. I don't think I got a good picture of those. Yes, it does have side vents on it. So this one is a flat back with no split, and it's got extra material in the side arms and stuff for that movement. So it is a modern style, but it is a very functional style. This one also has a half belt function in the bottom to bring the waist in.
That's how a traditional biker jacket is.
Yep.
Is side arm vents.
Yep. And
more exaggerated.
Funny thing is while this jacket looks big, this is a fucking medium. So everything heat straps runs pretty big. But this is a medium. Fantastic jacket. It's got it's a woven wool liner. It's not like a weather wool. It is a wool liner, but it's not that kind of wool liner. I'll show an actual weather wool one here in a minute. But it's a 24-ounce wax canvas. I mean, once again, it great jacket, cleans up easy. Mine's a little dirty. I get it. Like, it's got dog scratches and shit on it, but it's whatever. Like, there's chunk of mud right there. I don't know what the mud's from. I don't know. I was probably fucking doing something. Maybe I fucking ate shit and landed in the snow. I have no idea, but I don't clean my work jackets. Like, I try to keep my leather jackets nice. I don't like condition them, but I do keep them clean. The work jackets just get beat up. It is what they are. This is the Patriot coat, one of the original Nick's collabs. This is the weather wool. Same thing. It's a 24-ounce wax canvas. You see all the little fucking fibers. There's dog scratch or something. Actually, that one looks like it might have been from a branch or a chainsaw or something. Once again, I work in these. I do shit in these that gets them beat up. You can see I've busted a couple stitches here on this backside. I think that one I fucking ate shit jumping off a truck or something. But yeah, I do stuff in these. They do get beat up. They're not going to stay the prettiest. They are waxed, so it kind of exaggerates some of this a little bit. So some of this isn't quite as bad as it looks, but this is if you want a made in America Carhartt, this is what you buy. Like I said, it is weather wool lined. It is super warm in the winter. I will say that much. Like, if this is what I wear in between the refrigerator and the leather jackets. It is all YKK stuff. Like I said, they use all USA sourced products, or they claim to at least, and I don't have any reason not to believe them. They're all ex-firefighters, and like I said, they make good shit. This is the leather version of the Patriot, which is their chief coat in the leather. I would not suggest this one. This is an actual coat, so it does go down low, and this 1964 brown or whatever fuck this is boot leather. It is way too thick. It does have a wool liner, but this jacket is stiff as fuck. You can see right here in the shoulder right here, see all these like nasty, this is just because of the leather on it's way too fucking stiff, as you guys can tell. This one does not get worn near as much just due to how stiff it is. And I really only got it so that I could walk through trees and shit, and my waxed canvas jackets don't look like they do. They look like they do because I walk through trees and shit with them. So, like I said, it is like a woven wool liner. It does have an internal pocket and everything. As you can tell by this, like, this is just the piece that just flexes against me on the inside. You can see how stiff this leather is. Wasn't the wisest choice. This is like, while I like heat straps and everything, this is one I would take back if I could, because this leather is not a good pairing for the jacket. I mean, like I said, heat straps, fantastic craftsman. This leather needed to be like 1.5 ounces lighter. So, and for people who don't know, jacket leather should be like 2.5 to 3 ounces. Like nothing even close to boot leather. So, But like I said, I do love the heat straps jackets. They're fantastic. They're expensive. They'll run between $4 and I think most of their models without like special shit like shearling and stuff, like their deck jacket that just came out. I think they run between like $400 and $600. But they do a yearly second sale that you can get stuff pretty cheap on. So I have one of their second Sashiko shirts, which is a denim material and just a workwear shirt that I think I picked up for like $110. And normally Sashiko shirts, because Sashiko's kind of expensive, run closer to like 180, 200, 220. They're not cheap, but like so they have a good second sale. So if you like any of this stuff from heat straps, just wait for like the Black Friday second sale time of the year, and you could get a lot of this stuff at a pretty reasonable price, like 30 to 40% off, no problem. Watch I say that, and they'll never run a sale that deep again now that I've opened my dumb mouth. But here we are. The cool thing about the Chief Coat, because this is a Chief Coat design, is it is snap and zipper combo, so you can do either, which is kind of cool. So, and then I actually happen to be wearing this cardigan right now. This is the Kinfolk River cardigan. The Gabbard from Creosote makes these leather buttons out of the bins that his soles are made out of, his midsoles and soles. And the seamstress Kinfolk River makes this. This is Highland Peruvian wool. It's all completely hand woven, made to measure. It's fantastic. It stretches real good. It breathes real well. Keeps you from getting too hot. Keeps you from getting too cold. So I like it. Wear it quite a bit. It's a fantastic office cardigan. If I have to go into an actual office, it's a smart choice. It's like it's kind of like a pea coat. It's you're getting into gentleman's, kind of office wear. So I did that one. And then I didn't take many pictures of it, but I have two different trucker style denim jackets. This is a gray denim jacket. Yeah, it seen better days. But it used to be grayer. It used to be grayer. It's just kind of faded. I don't know if it's just the particular material they did with this one or what, but it got UV faded real bad. And it works. I have one also in an indigo color. These are great for like the middle seasons of the year. Kansas is like between 40 and 60 degrees in spring and fall, and extremely hot in the summer and extremely cold in the winter. So these are perfect spring and fall jackets. We also have data centers in California and Nevada. In Nevada, most people, or Las Vegas, which is where we're at in Nevada, most people think it's hot all year round, but it's actually like an average of 72 degrees all year round. So it's the weather that a light jacket is usually common to wear, especially when the sun goes down. So that's where this
jacket shocks my sense of symmetry. I really hate that there's only one pocket.
Yeah, that's their specific styling, and like I said, this is Vegas sun faded pretty bad too. And I think from there it's on to Jeff's jackets. So here we go. First, we have a J. Crew Peacoat.
I didn't set these up super well or take any time before I like the photos. I was kind of doing it in a rush, but yeah, this is J. Crew. It's called a Bayswater, and it's one of their older ones. J. Crew, I don't know if they still do, because I haven't been in a J. Crew store in quite a while. But they used to make a phenomenal peacoat, and even though they're kind of a pricier joint, it wasn't priced that bad for what it was. I mean, it was obviously very high quality. I like it better than Schott. And Schott is extremely well known for their peacoats.
And expensive too.
And so this one, I bought this same exact peacoat in colors. So this is a dark gray, and I didn't take photos of the other ones, but I've also got a dark blue, typical peacoat blue, got a black, I've got a green J. Crew one that is a different style that I did take a photo of that he's going to put up next.
Yeah, I called it out in the last video about hats, and I've mentioned it a couple times. Both me and Jeff have dogs, so dog hair on everything's going to be a common theme. Like you saw it on all my liners so far. You're going to see it on Jeff's stuff, just like on the hats in the last video. We have dogs, so everything's got dog hair.
I love my green, so I got that coat. Another one I didn't take a photo of is Ralph Lauren. It's not quite a pea coat. I'm not sure what I would call it, but it's somewhere between pea coat length and trench coat length. I guess maybe 6 inches longer than the pea coat.
I don't know what that would be because the navy coat is a little shorter. Not sure what that is. So a lot of these ones that just like the leather jackets, these are all themed off of something. So most of the pea coat, the navy coat, these are often used in the Navy. They're jackets that have military background, even though we consider them, more military semi-dress style now. So these do have a lot of historics. If you go back to the previous
photo and you look at the buttons, they've actually got anchors on them.
Yep. I don't know if I can zoom in enough to see. Yeah, you can see it. Yep, you can see the anchors right there. So, and like I said, the navy coat's going to look a lot like this one. It's just a smidge shorter. Pea coat's just a little bit longer. I don't know what the in-between is, but I'm sure there's an official name for it, because basically these jackets are, at this point with the dual lapels, are going to, every 6 inches is going to have a different name and a slightly different cut.
The other one I've got is almost at the knee. I mean, it's a lot longer than both of these, so that it would go below a suit jacket.
Yeah, I don't know what that would be called.
I should have taken a photo. I didn't.
Oh, this one.
So yes,
this one right here has got some of that length too.
3, 4. I've got 5. Yeah, I've got 5 pea coats. Yeah, I like pea coats.
Yeah. Well, pea coats are a lot like blazers, right? Like, you usually have them to go with specific outfits. And if you go to anyone that's been in any kind of sales, middle management, upper management, someone that's had to wear a suit to work at any time, they most likely have 3 or 4 of these, if not a whole closet of these to go with each suit that they own.
I just got in a thing with them. I used to wear a lot of leather coats. I've gotten to the point where I just love these pea coats. They regularly heat well. So I don't really overheat in them. They keep me warm when they need to. They're loose enough in their cut, in sleeves, everywhere, so that it doesn't matter how thick of a shirt or a sweater or hoodie or whatever that I'm wearing underneath it. Anything is going to be comfortable. And it's not noisy. So it clicks a lot of boxes for me.
Yep. Jeff doesn't have a picture of one, but it's also extremely common, just like the Peaky Blinders he showed in the last video, to see these in herringbone patterns. Super common to see them in herringbones. I have not
done one of those yet.
That shocks me a little bit since you own herringbone Peaky Blinders, but like I said, super common to see these in a herringbone style.
Certainly might happen. Just hasn't happened yet.
I haven't seen one in a while, but they did make these in leather at one point too, on a fairly regular basis. But that's definitely fallen out of style. The car coat in leather is kind of the closest thing that achieves a dual lapel, but they don't generally go quite down as long. And speaking of this is getting real close to a car coat.
Yes, I in my opinion, it's a car coat. It's my Ian Winchester coat, Supernatural coat. I was watching a lot of Supernatural, and he had a jacket like this, and I just thought it looked really cool. So I happened to be walking through the mall and walked in the Fry store and decided I needed to have that jacket, all because of a TV show. But it's a really nice jacket. I mean, it's a coat. because of its length. So it's plenty long and covers my butt when I'm sitting in a seat. And again, it's loose for whatever I'm wearing underneath it. Nice distressed looking leather coat. The leather is not the highest quality, but it's also not the worst. I mean, you guys probably know what Fry is like, and that's their MO.
It's not
the
Indian
best,
chrome
not the worst.
tanned.
They're
As
good
long as
mid-leather.
as long as it's not Indian chrome tan that smells like chemicals and that looks like it's actual real aniline leather. You want Indian dyed chrome tan, Jeff. You want to smell that chemical in your closet, that big old whiff. Like contact high.
Nothing custom for me. Nothing exciting for me.
Nope.
But, oh yeah, and here's our honorable mention. I forgot about.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't realize we were already to the honorable mention. I thought there was one more.
The fun pick, the fun jacket. I happened to pull this out because when I was taking a picture of the green pea coat, I realized that I still had it in the back room because I hadn't pulled it out for the season. So I've got some old stuff back there that I should have gotten rid of a long time ago. And this is one of those. So this was a Levi jacket that I wore in high school. So to date myself, this was late 80s. And I had a buddy of mine paint Leonard Skinner on the back for me. Back patches were the thing to do back then, but if you were really cool, you skipped the patch and went straight to paint.
People don't do this much anymore, but there are a couple guys that still do it, and they do some fucking cool work.
If anybody's a Skinner fan and they're 36, maybe it's a 38 chest. I don't remember. It's certainly way too small for me now. But I might be willing to part with it. It's not doing me any good anymore.
Chest size is a little too faded. I can't tell what that says. It looks like it might say 37.
I know it was an even number. They didn't do odd. It's either 36 or 38.
It's too faded. I can't tell. It's probably, well, no, I guess it could be a 6. I'm not sure. It's there in the corner. It's just too faded to see in the picture.
Can you tell by looking at it whether it's salvage or not? And wouldn't that have been about the time that Levi was abandoning it? I mean, they wouldn't have been doing anything super to make sure that you knew it.
Yeah, no, it's not salvage. The weave is wrong. This is it's shuttle loom, but it's not salvaged edge. So see how the loom all goes one direction? So it's loom woven, but it's not salvage. Salvage crosses. So it's this one directional loom. But it is still loomed. It is not the way they do it now, where it's a complete processed roll. So.
Zoomed in enough to see the my buddy's name.
Oh yeah, Eddie down there in the corner. Yeah. Yeah, I was just trying to see if I could catch an edge, but yeah, it's a one way. This is still a loomed. It's not salvage, but it is loomed. So it is at least woven instead of just processed. But yeah, this was kind of the shits and giggles one we tossed in. So since Jeff tossed one and I tossed one, this is me in the Shinky Brown with the Indy fedora and my Florinite cowboy boots 2 years ago, I think now. No, 3 years ago at the Botanica Lights. So in the Wichita area, they have this thing called Botanica Gardens that's like, I don't know, like 500,000 square feet or something. It's a huge botanical garden, and they do like 2/3 of it in these huge winter lights exhibits. So like that's a penguin and a polar bear behind me with a couple Christmas trees inside one of the greenhouses. So that is a pair of salvage jeans, Florinite cowboy boots, Indy fedora, leather jacket. Yes, I know how to style myself. I think we did that one. Yeah, we did the rest of these, but yeah. Leather, well, jackets in general, mostly focused on leather, but these are all fine jackets. I mean, minus the no, because Columbias are actually fairly expensive too. So these are all pretty fine. I mean, Columbia is the only mass-produced one of the stuff we showed. But this is all more quality stuff. Like Peacoats, while J. Crew runs sells and they're pretty reasonably priced, they're still not cheap. You're not like if you went with like a Shot or a Brooklyn Taylor's, they're $800 to $1,100. Like they're very expensive. J. Crew probably not on sale. Those probably ran around $180 to $220. You could probably get them on sale at like $110 maybe.
Oh, at the time, if it was now, it'd probably be $400 or $500.
Probably
at the time,
right now.
At the time, I think it was just short of 300. I think it was like 280. Say.
Yep.
I'm gonna say 280.
Yep. And J. Crew does do sales and stuff. So if you're sales minded and you're an odd size that might not sell out real quickly, obviously the biggest problem with J. Crew is if you're a regular size, like say you're a 9 in dress shoes, you ain't finding none of the dress shoes you want in the end of the year sales. Let me tell you, them's all selling. But if you're a bit of an odd size, you might get lucky and find one.
When I say it was 280. Back in the day, I mean, I'm talking probably 2000, probably 25 years ago. 25 years ago. Damn it. Time is just fucking disappearing. But yeah, it was around 2000. And I don't know if their business model is the same, but J. Crew has definitely done some crazy sales throughout most of the time that I shopped them. Clearance sections, they'd put stuff on clearance so fast and it'd be such high quality stuff, and they need to push it all out the door, and it'd be like 60-70% off if they had your size.
Yeah, from what I understand from Dale and Chris, that is the case. Like they still have that same business model. I don't know if all the goods are as high quality, but there are gems like basically B grade darn tough merino wool socks you can get through J. Crew pretty cheap, and they do go on sale for as low as like $14 in the clearance sales. But once again, hope you're an odd size.
I haven't walked into one in at least 15 years, so I certainly can't say the way it is now. But at the time, it was Ralph Lauren without logos.
Yeah,
and I really liked that about them. I really didn't like walking around with a horse on my chest so that people knew that I spent a lot on my shirt. And I would put anything J. Crew at the time up against something Ralph Lauren, and the quality and the thickness and the cut. And I mean, everything was same quality, but I didn't have any logos to wear.
Hey, from what I understand from the J. Crew guys, it's still the same. Like up until 2 years ago, all the J. Crew dress shoes were made in the same factory as Grant Stone's out of the same materials. So the guy that does the designs for Wyatt, the owner, was doing white label work with them and doing a lot of the J. Crew designs at the time. So, I mean, there is definitely some of the, once again, I don't know how much, but there's still a lot of that business model still alive.
They had the best boxers like ever. And when I say ever, I mean like since 1980. There was a point in time where people stopped making boxers correctly, and what I mean is the ass is one piece of material all the way to the edge seam. So there wasn't a crack down your ass to get shoved up your ass. It was one piece of material, so you never got wedgies. I hadn't seen anybody else doing that, so I owned a lot of J. Crew box.
Duluth doesn't put any seams on your butt area. They do it in the crotch area. And I've heard that about J. Crew recently, so I think that still might be the case. Your mileage may vary, but
and awesome fun designs.
Yeah, I don't. There's no J. Crew anywhere near me. There might be one in Kansas City, and I'm not even sure if there's one up there. So there's none anywhere near me. So I've never actually been into a J. Crew. I've just heard plenty from the East Coast guys that frequent them regularly, which both Chris and Dale are regular consumers at J. Crew, especially the clearance sections. But yeah. Tis one of those realities. I know Nordstrom Rack is where people get a lot of good stuff cheap. You can get like Iron Rangers on sale for like $210 twice a year from Nordstrom Rack somehow. That's the thing that happens on a regular basis.
One of those in forever either. I never had a lot of luck at them. I heard people say they really liked them.
Yeah, there was one of those in Kansas City. I only went into it once though.
I used to like the outlets, but it's been ages for that too. J. Crew has, their outlets have had a completely different line of clothing for a very, very long time. So you can't shop at a J. Crew outlet. Just crappy, not high level clothing.
I've never even been in one.
I'm trying to think what outlets are still real. I used to like shopping the Timberland outlet. They actually had some really cool stuff at really good prices in the Timberland outlet.
Yep.
And it always surprised me because I always expected it to be crap when I walked in. They did a good job.
The Levi's outlets are still pretty decent. That's the only time you'll be able to find jeans in like odd numbered inseams. Very rarely can you find odd numbered inseams in the Levi outlets. You can, like 29, 31, 33.
I remember back in the day when outlets were a brand new thing and people would travel to go to them.
Yep.
Those Levi outlets were fucking nuts. They were the size of a department store and just all you had was denim.
Yep. This Levi's returns.
And it had like at least 25% of it was irregular. So you had to be like searching through it to make sure what was wrong with it.
Yep. I said there's still one Levi's outlet in Kansas City. I haven't been in it in a long time, but when you need an odd size inseam, like 6, usually you don't find most inseams in the store in an odd number. In the outlets, you could find the inseams in odd numbers, which is always nice. But yeah, so there's your Brothers in Fashion episode that someone joked about in the comments a couple times ago. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, once again, this is another very opinion-based one that's just kind of putting some information out there. Nothing going deep, hardcore educational. There's facts here, but it's really more just our opinions and the stuff we've had and the stuff that we've liked. So figured we would show it off. I've had a lot of requests about the different stuff that we pair with our boots, and just like with the hats, we probably won't do one on belts, but a lot of us pair our belts with our boots. That one's pretty obvious. Just get a belt in the same leather or same color. But yeah, hope like, comment, subscribe.
Maybe we can figure out a way to work it in with something else. Because even though Mike hasn't specifically showed me, I know that he's got an awful lot of fancy belts.
I do.
I've got a few really nice belts, but not as many.
Yeah, I do have some fancy belts. The biggest issue with them is most of them are too big these days. I've had to punch holes in a lot of them to make them smaller. And all my like pigeon tree with the dual prongs, you've got to get the holes spaced right. So I haven't bothered ever attempting punching new holes in those because they're teardrop shaped, number one, and the spacing has to be right. So.
It's better than the opposite.
Yeah, I could always send them to Isaac. He'll fix them for free, either punch new holes, or a lot of times what he'll do is he'll take it off the other side and re-rivet the buckle down so that you don't lose the shape of the belt. So, but if you do buy a pigeon tree, you do get that kind of stuff for life. You just got to pay for shipping to and from, which, to be fair, these days is probably half the price of a new belt, the way fucking UPS and FedEx charge on shit. Bastards. Which is funny too, because I ship a ton through work, and I can literally get like FedEx 1-day shipping prices where I can ship like 120-pound Pelican that's got 2 servers in it, that's literally like 36 by 54 long, for like $26 because we have corporate pricing. Assholes.
Comes the facts.
Yeah. It's dumb. It's dumb. But I go through Pirate Ship to mail something to somebody, and it's like, oh, well, Pirate Ship saved me a ton of money, but it was still $26 to 5-day ship 12 by 12 by 6 box somewhere.
Pirate Ship is a shit ton cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
It is. I love Pirate Ship.
Way cheaper. It's like an 80% price savings. It's a ton of money. It just shows you how expensive shipping still is. That's a really good point you bring up too. When it comes to Pirate Ship, if you need like 2 or 1 day shipping, holy fuck, is that a lot of savings. Like, it's still going to cost you $30 or $40, but if you walked into a UPS or FedEx store to 1 or 2 day ship something, you're not leaving for less than $8,500. Like, no fucking problem. So you, like, not only do you save on ground for the more expedited shippings, you really save a lot of money. I don't know why people would need those on a regular basis, but if you do, they're definitely significantly cheaper there. So I think that's pretty much all we got for this one. So like, comment, subscribe, let us know down below. Unlike hats, jackets we could probably answer more questions on. A little bit easier. Hats are just a literal fucking sandbox. It's a choose your own adventure, so they're a little tougher to answer questions on. But like, comment, subscribe, comments down below. Both with this one and the hats, if you want to see more of this content, let us know. I don't know what that is or what that looks like or how the fuck to do it, but let us know and maybe we can figure some of it out. I don't really know how to expand upon what we've done here, except for maybe getting one of the makers on or something, I guess, is a possibility. I don't know. I'd have to ask them, but I mean, if you guys want to see something like that, let us know, and we'll pull on that thread a little bit. And we'll see y'all in the next one.
Bunch of